Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our fifth session of our Research Capability Building Program for teachers in the social sciences and in teacher education, organized by the University of St. Louis University Research and Development Center and the Center for Social Innovation, Local Knowledge, and Educational Research. It's our seventh day of the enhanced community quarantine into Gigaraw City, and I hope every one of us here are safe. To begin with, let's have first our opening prayer.
Our ever-loving Father, the core of every reason, the source of truth. You who made the earth and the heavens are the ultimate goal of every knowledge seekers, the infinite wisdom, the cause of all that is good. We are truly grateful for this opportunity to gather together as a community despite the challenges we face each day. Yet you remained and gave us strength to carry on the responsibilities of bearing intelligence and using them for better purposes. We now humbly ask you to join us in our endeavor to explore the wonders of life in the world for knowledge's sake, that in whatever we learn today, we become more grounded to you, who is truth, who is love. We pray that you bless our speakers, the fount of your infinite knowledge, that they can share something worthwhile despite the limited time we have. They can channel all they know and share to us the beauty and truth of living as your child. We pray that you guide our participants, the seekers of your boundless knowledge, that they may continue to persevere in the search and be deemed worthy to share what they learn from today's session. Sanctify us, O Lord, not because we are worthy of it, but because we believe in your love and mercy, that at the end of the day, we can take home something that's amazing and meaningful. This we ask and pray through Christ our Lord. Amen.
We are now in the fifth session of our Research Capability Building Program. I would like to thank all our participants. For today, we have the faculty members from the School of Education, Arts and Sciences, the faculty members from the elementary, junior high school, and senior high school, from the different departments from the college, SAB-H, SAYITE, and CHAS, to our partner institutions, participants from the St. Louis College of Bulanao, Tabuk City, Kalinga, and Kalinga State University, Tabuk City, Kalinga. Also to our students from the different departments who are watching via our Facebook Live. Also, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our ever-supportive Vice President for Academics, Dr. Emmanuel James P. Pataguan. Hello, sir. Good morning po. Maybe we can hear some words of inspiration from...
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Can I be heard, Dr.
Yes,
Darin?
yes, sir.
Okay. So anyway, as you are calling me to give a brief message, Allow me first of all to already start thanking our speaker, Dr. Ballena of De La Salle University, Das Marinas. This early, I'd like to say thank you to you for accepting our invitation to be part of this continuing development program, not only for our stakeholders in our university, the University of St. Louis Tuguegarao, but also our partner institutions who also would want to seek new knowledge, new skills, and new values in undergoing or in undertaking qualitative research. And the series of research capability building program, which was organized by Dr. Darin of the Center for Social Innovation, Local Knowledge, and Educational Research, no? Including the very supportive University Research and Development Center head. We would like to say that this is a welcome part of the session or the series of the sessions, because we are also wanting to learn how we further our skills in qualitative research. In the previous session, where we had Dean Felina Espique of St. Louis University, who also started discussing about qualitative research or doing qualitative research, also gave us big inspiration, I'd like to say, for everyone, because for the social sciences, we really would want that we our skills, no, in doing qualitative research be enhanced or be furthered, I'd like to say. And hoping that through this next session with Dr. Baliana of De La Salle University, that will be able also to learn new things so that we can also apply. And for our guest speaker, for your information, as you might be listening to us already or to me, we would want that all of our faculty members would really complete their researches. If I may be repetitive, it's because I'd like to challenge everybody to really complete a research paper at the end of this term. And I'm referring to May 30 of this year, that all teachers of the School of Education, Arts, and Sciences will really have to complete or be part of a research at the very least. And this is the challenge we pose to all our research heads, that all teachers must have at least been asked to participate or will have to present their own concept paper at the end of this session. And I'm happy that every now and then, where after every session of capability building in research, we know that we're progressing with new people, new employees wanting already to present their capsule proposals or proposals for that matter. Well, even amidst this pandemic, and as mentioned by Dr. Darin, we are in ECQ in Tuguegarao City. And in fact, if you read the articles about quarantine statistics and quarantine information, it will tell you that Tuguegarao is one among the cities of the NCR Plus, in fact, to be put under ECQ based on IATF guidelines. But again, even as we await that we will be freed from ECQ, we know that this is an opportunity for us, dear teachers, to start writing and start appreciating the lecture of our guest speaker and be inspired to continue doing better research papers or be inspired to come up with new concepts or new ideas in writing your next qualitative research. On a personal note, I mentioned this with a previous speaker, that most of the papers I wrote so far, even if I'm busy as the vice president, has always been on something qualitative. For one reason, well, I am able to write with the inspiration of so many. I'd like to say they are very good friends of mine who also inspired me to proceed. But even on a personal note, I'd like to share to you that it became a challenge to me to do research and prove to the teachers that it's a lot easy to do research when you gain the momentum and start focusing on writing. And all other instructors or teachers are listening to me, especially those in basic education. I know I never stop inspiring you to start writing on research to the extent that I give already concepts or ideas on what you need to come out, if only to help. But meantime, with this series of sessions that we have, I know we'll be able to proceed even further, and you will have your own original concepts or original research ideas. And so, well, again, I'd like to say thank you, Dr. Darin. Be safe in Baguio because I know cases in Baguio still increase, no? And be safe in there as you go for a much needed vacation. It has been more than a year since he visited his parents. On a very personal note, trying to traverse Ambuklao mountain areas, which I know is a very difficult road, but he managed to travel after 7 hours. So he must be smiling because I didn't expect he's going to take the long and winding roads of Ambuklao. And well, he was safe home, and I hope that he also was able to have some ideas about new or possible qualitative studies as he went through the long and winding roads of Ambuklao going to Baguio. I'm sure Dr. Darin, when he stops in a place, he will have a new idea to think about and he will have a new title to present to a colleague or to a friend. And that's always the concept of building a research culture that all of us will continue to help each other, continue to inspire each other. In fact, you know that even during these difficult times, over a cup of coffee, we come up with good ideas, and Darin is a witness to that. When we have a short coffee break and he's in my office, we're able to conceptualize a lot of ideas to come up with a qualitative paper. And well, that's always the good attitude of a person wanting to build on knowledge or wanting to discover knowledge. That of being open and that of being able to listen to mentors or to coaches, I'd like to say. And so, on behalf of the Cecil Kerr and the URDC of the university, I extend my congratulations to all of you. Thank you for being so patient, and I hope that until 12 o'clock, you'll be able to learn new ideas and new ways of analyzing papers under the qualitative research. And so again, to Dr. Ballena of the De La Salle University of Dasmariñas, and please note that De La Salle is a friend of USL by virtue of our connection with the Asian University Digital Resource Network, and also because at one time I brought with me my former president to benchmark with De La Salle University on their LMS, NEO LMS application through Miss Jen Padernal, who at that time was the head of the Center for the Learning Management System of De La Salle University. And so again, we have a long history to make, and we have established a friendship with De La Salle University. And I hope we'll be able to also meet Dr. Baliena later on and become a new friend of mine and a new friend of the university with this endeavor that we'll have to do with us. And so again, thank you, Dr. Baliena, for your gracious acceptance of our invitation. To everyone, enjoy and relax the session. God bless and have a pleasant morning once again.
Thank you, Sir James, for always inspiring our teachers to do good and also to produce quality research outputs. And I hope to our faculty members listening and watching right now, I hope that you actually inspired with the words and wisdom of our very own Vice President for Academics. It's I think 22 degrees Celsius here in Baguio, in the city of Pines, and currently I am enjoying the cool breeze, okay, of Baguio. And at this juncture, may I present to you our fifth session speaker. He was our speaker during the International Conference on Qualitative Research last 2016 at St. Louis University, Baguio. Um, our speaker is a full professor of the De La Salle University Dasmariñas College of Liberal Arts and Communications under the Languages and Literature Department. He is a guru in qualitative research. Ladies and gentlemen, our speaker for today, we have Dr. Constantino T. Ballena.
Okay, so thank you very much. Okay, thank you, Dr. James, and thank you, Dr. John. Okay, and yeah, it's my first time to be with you, USL. Is it right? The other one is LSU, SLU. I mean, where my brother is a professor. Okay, so thank you for the invite, and thank you for the offer of friendship. And I'm humbled by the offer of friendship. Um, by the way, my native language is Ilocano. I'm from Abra. Yeah, I'm from Abra. So that's my first language, Ilocano. Dolores Abra in particular. We actually have roots in Cagayan. I don't know where in Cagayan. I have yet to ask my parents. So it is a province that I wanted to visit actually. I haven't been to Cagayan Valley. I've been in the south as far as Dipolog, Jensan, Agusan, of course Davao, but I haven't been in the far north because I haven't received invitations. No, no, just kidding. No, 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 just kidding. But I'm so happy for the offer of friendship, and I'm so very glad that today, which is the second day of Easter, okay, we have new friends. And as Sir James was saying earlier on, you already have initial you have established initial friendship with De La Salle University Dasmariñas, especially the use of our NEU LMS. Actually, I'm on asynchronous class now. So I have three classes now. So they are all doing asynchronous activities. So before joining you, I already gave them the activities. So, and we actually have a very strong LMS. And Miss Jen Padernal must have discussed it with you. Okay. So thank you so much. I like the prayer, and let me connect first before I start. Let me connect it with what Sir James said earlier on. The prayer says something like, in the search for knowledge and especially truth. Our very existence on Earth is actually a journey. I want it to be a journey. That's why I actually have a different title for our presentation today. It is walking you through qualitative data analysis. So it is a walk. It is a journey. In the same way as Christ journeyed here on Earth, and with the hope of bringing us back to the Father. So searching for the truth in the context of research. And second point is, which Sir James said earlier on, is in the context of research, that the research culture, I actually am impressed by the heart project of your university. I read that very well, and it's very inspiring, in fact. So you want to have research culture, which every institution wants to have, especially university institutions with university status. Now, um, I don't know if you have already been doing this one. Um, when we are evaluated for, just say, accreditation purposes, it's not actually the number of researches that bear on that bears on our accreditation. It's the number of researchers, not really the number of researchers.
That's correct.
So in relation to that point, since Sir James posed some challenge to faculty members, I would want to see a communal doing of research, a collaborative doing of research. Just say you can start with a group of three. For instance, one from college, one from high school, one from the basic ed elementary. So there is already mentoring in that regard. And when you are evaluated as a school, it's the number of teachers engaged in research. It's really the number. In our institution, we used to have the research incentive individual based. That's why in the past, we had to do individual researching. We had to do individual conduct of research because uh, we wanted, or most faculty members wanted to get the entire research incentive from the monetary side of it. But the university made some dramatic change of a strategy, because in the past, if two or three researchers do one research, the research incentive, the monetary research incentive, is divided by the number of researchers, and it was not a come on. And we know pretty well that when we talk about accreditation, when we talk about shared application for autonomous status, or the different levels of the different university, it's the number. So our university made a dramatic change of having the same monetary incentive, regardless of the number of researchers. Hence, faculty members also shifted gear. So why don't we collaborate? So from social sciences to languages to behavioral to education, because we have senior high school only, and college. And we have yet to go into collaborating with our senior high school, because our senior high school is still pretty young. It's for our first time to be offering basic education. Okay, so that's a challenge. I don't know your culture, if the monetary incentive is given equally to researchers, so that we can really get several researches to respond to the challenge of Sir James, that, for instance, three researchers coming up with one research. So instead of one, because it's a lonely job to be doing research. But if you have some colleagues with you, it's not lonely. Especially doing qualitative research, you will be doing the interviewing. If there are three of you, so the three of you will be conducting interviewing with several interviewees, and you will have better outlook, especially by the time that you data analyze. So that's my response to your prayer, and to the offer of friendship, and to the invite. And I really thank you for the invite. I really, in fact, I was saying, had it not been pandemic, I would want to be there, and to be at your school. Okay. So thank you so much. So let me share my. So that's my response to your kind introduction and warm offer of friendship. Okay. So let me now share my PowerPoint presentation. Are we going to start? Dr. John.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so okay, let me just share my PowerPoint presentation. Okay, Dr. John, can you see the PowerPoint presentation? No. Audio.
Okay po, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so thank you. So it's walking you through qualitative data analysis. So I'm Amboy. By the way, my name is Amboy. Uh, my professional name is Constantino T. Ballena. So T is terrenal. So, but I would love my nickname. That's what my parents gave me. It's actually a product of superstition. Okay, in our place, um, I was very sickly then, about 3, 4 years old. I almost come to death. So my parents believed superstitiously that the name of the person is the person. Change the name of the person, and you have a new person. Hence, Amboy. So, Amboy. So it's a product of superstition, and I love that name. That's why I use that at the university. In fact, I don't. I give a soft reprimand to students who call me Dr. Ballena, and I would want them to just simply call me Sir Amboy. Okay, so Amboy is a sweet name for me. So walking you through qualitative data analysis. Okay, so I think those are some of our preliminaries and our time check. It's now 9:52. By the way, Sir Dr. John, may I know if there are non-Ilocano participants? Because I may be switching to Ilocano.
We have participants, sir, from other schools from
Okay.
Mindanao
Ah,
and
really?
even in Visayas.
Okay, so I may not be switching to Ilocano, but uh, um, I beg the indulgence of the non-Ilocanos. I may, because it's I really missed my language because we don't use Ilocano at home. Okay, so I'm married to a Caviteña. So, welcome to all the attendees. So, my warm welcome to all of you across the Philippines. Okay, so I hope I'll be able to walk you through qualitative data analysis. Um, I have been teaching qualitative research since the time that we were mandated by CHED to offer qualitative research in the graduate studies, in the graduate school, because it was a mandate that qualitative research be part of the core courses. So I've been teaching qualitative research for 20 semesters and 8 summers or 10 summers. Okay, and it's really it's like it's the same course I teach. First sem qualitative research, second sem qualitative research, summer qualitative research. Then it's really qualitative research. So I maybe share. I'll be sharing to you some forms that may help you also in your proposal, because you talk about proposal earlier on. Um, just PM me, sorry, Sir John. So I can share that to University of Saint Louis, right? Is it right? Okay. So, but for the attendees, if there are attendees who would want to get to have a copy of the PowerPoint presentation, I don't give copies of a copy of PowerPoint presentation because, you know, what is it for? I have a Word copy. I think it's the Word copy that you might want, including the references. So that's FYI. So should participants be asking for PPT, it's the same content anyway. It's in a Word format, and Word I think it's 3 or 4 pages. So PowerPoint presentation is 40 plus slides. So why do you settle for for very long for a very long document if you have short pages of Word. Okay, so walking you through qualitative data analysis. So I hope I'll be able to make sense this morning. Okay, so let's have a review of what you have had. I said earlier on, I have been impressed by the heart project. So I viewed previous lectures, especially Dr. Speaker's presentation. So let's have a short review. So on March 8, 2021, you had your session on basics of research. So the research process, problem conceptualization, which was facilitated by Dr. Mendezabal. Okay. So a week after that, you had the hows and whys of literature review. This is for those who were able to really make themselves available for the series. Okay, for those who weren't able to make themselves available for the series or failed to participate, at least you have a view. It's not a review. Okay, so the hows and whys of related literature review by your very own Dr. John. And on the 22nd, you have digital tools in research by Mr. Abana, I think also your own from your university. So the different software that you could use in doing qualitative, in doing research in general. And on the 29th, that was the most recent that you have had. That was Holy Monday, uh, qualitative research in social sciences by Dr. Espike. And let's have that as our launching pad. Dr. Espike presented a very comprehensive treatment of qualitative research. She was able to present the 5 traditions and following Creswell. So narrative analysis, you have ethnography, phenomenological research, grounded theory, and case study. And she was able also to walk you through the different ways to to deal with the problem, sampling, and the different data collection techniques. Okay. So, and part of her presentation was also on data analysis. So it's a good launching pad. So our focus this morning is really the data analysis, but we are going to start with data collection technique. So there is a smooth transition from Dr. Speaker's presentation to my presentation. And what's good about Dr. Speaker's presentation is she generously gave some research topics, and that's good. And some points that you can take, some topics that you can take, especially now that it is pandemic. I'm also doing my currently doing a research now, although it is an individual. It is corpus linguistics. That is my line actually is applied linguistics. So I'm doing corpus linguistics. So I hope that so by the end of this month, I may be able to finish it and pass for publication by May or June. Now, April 5. So qualitative data analysis, so by yours truly, and that is the focal point of today's presentation. So for our preview, you still have 2 upcoming sessions. So you have, by the way, Dr. John, could you just call my attention if my audio is not good, okay? Uh, so you have quantitative research in social science, emphasis on processing and analysis of research data by um, my brother, so Dr. Jim Ballena, the fourth. You may be wondering why the fourth and I'm Constantino. There are several Ballenas in our family. We are seven, six boys and one girl, and majority are Jaimes. I'm not a Jaime. I'm Constantino. Okay, my name was taken from the calendar. That used to be how our names were given to us. If you are born on this date, I was born on March 11, and you can see San Constantino in the Catholic calendar. And after that, you end your presentation, your session on April 19th, writing for results, discussion, and conclusion. So looking at the review and preview, so you may be following IMRD, so introduction, method, results, and discussion. So three chapters or three major chunks of the research output by Ferdinand Bulusan. If I'm not mistaken, I know Sir Ferdy. That's the nickname, right? Uh, he used to be with Ched. Am I right? No. Sir Ferdy?
Um,
No, no.
No. Because I don't know if it's the same person I have worked with when I was with the Philippine Association for Graduate Education. But at any rate, it sounds familiar. I call him Ferdy. I don't know if it's the same person. Okay, so this is our review and preview, ladies and gentlemen, and our focus is, of course, qualitative research, data analysis. Okay, so um, fasten your belt, and we are going to have our takeoff. Okay, I only have modest objectives this morning. First is to have a quick review of data collection techniques, particularly interview. Okay, so that we have a smooth transition from last week's presentation to today's presentation. Second is to gain a broader understanding of the various steps of analyzing qualitative research, and this is the focal point of today's presentation. So it is the step-by-step treatment of qualitative data analysis. And finally, as to the question of validity and reliability in treating qualitative data, I'm going to walk you through, not really very profoundly, it's just cursorily through the different ways to ensure validity and reliability in qualitative research, which in qualitative research we call trustworthiness. So one section of the method, chapter 2 of our research output is trustworthiness. In fact, that is the last part of, last subsection of chapter 2, which is methodology. Okay. So these are our objectives. Of course, there are some limitations given the time, and of course, given the fact that when we talk about qualitative data analysis, this is my first time to be presenting it in lecture form. I never presented this in lecture form. It is always workshop in the past. So I don't know how I will be able to make it worthwhile as part of your prayer earlier on. How to walk you through it. I'm going to try my best. I planned so hard for this one because, as I said, it's really workshop. It should be workshop. But given the limitation of distance and limitation of remote presentation, so we may not be able to do it, but there may be some simulation by going through some products already, some outputs done by qualitative researchers. So these are some of the limitations. When I say QD is qualitative data. So it's interview transcripts. I'm not going to talk about document review, observation notes, etc. But it's qualitative data here, focusing on interview transcripts. So next is the qualitative data analysis that I'm going to walk you through this morning is manual. There are actually QDA software, but I put that as outside the purview of this presentation because you can always have access to all of these. There are free software available online. I have one application saved on my laptop, but I would want you to go through the manual coding of your transcripts, and that is interview transcripts. So QDA software is outside the purview. Although it would be a big help, but you will be able to realize later on the significance of doing it manually um, with minimal computer assistance, like your Word, because your Word can do the counting actually. So these are the limitations. Okay, this is the preview of the presentation this morning. First is we are going to have um, a preview of data collection techniques with special focus on interview. After that, this is the focal point of the presentation, the step-by-step QDA. And part three is the CERES criteria by Ballena and Liwag 2019. This paper was published in an international journal, a refereed journal. It's actually in the references later on. You'll be able to see this one. Ballena and Liwag, of course, referring to myself. Okay, Ballena and Liwag came up with CERES in the determination of the themes, which are the findings of qualitative research. How many themes are we going to have? What themes should be ferreted out of our qualitative data? So there are five. So CERES actually composed of five concepts. Okay, inspired by Miriam 2009 and Miriam and Tisdale 2015. Then after that, briefly, I'll be discussing with you, or excuse me, walking you through trustworthiness of qualitative research. As I said earlier on, trustworthiness is one of the important subheadings of your method. That is the last part, that you are supposed to be describing the trustworthiness of your qualitative study. So simply, the subheading is trustworthiness. And finally, some miscellany. So miscellany, maybe this is miscellaneous. Miscellaneous is adjective, miscellany is noun. So some miscellaneous points. Okay, so with that, let's start with the first. Okay, so fasten your belt and let's start. So let's have a brief review of data collection techniques with special focus on interview. As I said earlier on, a good point of departure was that of Dr. Speaker's presentation. So when we talk about data collection techniques, first, let's not confuse techniques with procedure. When we say data collection techniques in qualitative research, there are only three. I coin I do. I do. Don't forget that. I do. So you have interview, document review or document analysis, and third is observation. So I do. When we say procedure, that's different. And we should not confuse techniques and procedure. Techniques, we have three. Procedure vary. Procedures vary. There are procedures that we follow when we interview. There are procedures that we follow when we document review or document analyze. And there are procedures that we follow when we observe. So just distinction between data collection techniques and data collection procedures. Although when you present that in your methodology, chapter 2, It is data collection techniques and procedures. Okay. So the first is in-depth interview. In qualitative research, ladies and gentlemen, it's not just a mere interview. For instance, you bump into somebody and then you ask the person, you have some kwentuhan with the person, and that's already it. No, or you do some ambush interview. No, it is in-depth interview. Second is document review or analysis. Let me explain this very briefly because this has been misconstrued by several researchers who are new to qualitative research as a data analysis uh, technique or procedure. No, this is different. Document review or document analysis is for instance, your research is archival or historical. You are presented with several, or with many documents. So document review is a data collection technique whereby you actually do some mining. So do some calling, do some calling from the piles and piles of documents. You are not actually doing the document analysis in the context of data analysis. No, it's different. So after, for instance, you have 1,000 of documents, you review the 1,000 these documents, and after you review, you will be able to find out that there are only 203 of the 1,000 that are um, related to your topic, and you get them. So that is the end of document review. When you go from one document to another by doing some content analysis, that would be different. That is data analysis. Okay. And finally, you have observation and field work. This is done in ethnographic research. So observation and field work are the primary data collection technique for ethnographic study. Okay, ethnographic study, because you need to understand culture. And by the way, given the 5 traditions of qualitative research following Creswell 2007, actually you have already put 2011, and if I'm not mistaken, the latest of Creswell is 2017 or 18, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm using 2007. It's basically the same. I have ebook. If you're interested, I can share to you my ebook, but it's only the 2007. I have hard copy of the 1998 book of Creswell. Okay, so given the 5 traditions, there are some registers, some technical terms that are expected of us to be using when we use narrative analysis, phenomenology, ethnography, grounded theory, and case study, especially phenomenology, narrative analysis, and ethnography. For instance, when you talk about narrative analysis, one important among the important terminologies that should be highlighted in your research is epiphanies. So you know Epiphany, the feast of the Epiphany. So after December, so the turning points, restoring. If we don't read those terminologies in your paper, something is wrong. Is this a narrative analysis? Second is a phenomenology, for instance. So you have epoche, you have eidetic reduction, you have essence. So if we don't see this, that's not phenomenological. In ethnographic research, if we don't find culture, either from the emic point of view or ethic point of view, So that's not really ethnography. Okay, so my point in here is there are terminologies that are suitable to the different traditions of qualitative research. So these are the data collection techniques I do: in-depth interview, document review or analysis, and observation. As I said earlier on, our special focus is on interview. So interview. So I don't have to discuss what interview anymore, but it is suffice it to say that when we talk about interview, this is the most common data collection technique employed in qualitative research. So that is Miriam and Tisdale 2016, just Jamshed 2014, Ku and Dumai 2011. So interview is the most common data collection technique that is employed in qualitative research. Okay. Now I don't have to discuss with you the how of interviewing, etc., etc. At least because this is just a preview. It may be individual or group interview or focus group discussion in the Philippines. Uh, Litzman 2006 calls this in a group interview, Morgan 2009 focus groups. So it is face-to-face modality, and for the both the individual interview face-to-face and focus group discussion or group interview. So the researcher is one faced with different individuals, the interviewees in group interview, whereas in individual, it's one-on-one. That is face-to-face. Ladies and gentlemen, despite the pandemic that we experience now, by the way, as Sir James said earlier on, NCR and the greater Manila area that includes Cavite are now under ECQ. And I was surprised actually to learn that Tuguegarao city is also under ECQ. And it has been extended until next week or by until Sunday. So I hope that we stay healthy and we stay away from COVID-19. What's good about the good side of the pandemic, ladies and gentlemen, is we may not have face-to-face individual interview. We may not have face-to-face group interview, and we can use different platforms. And these are the technology-mediated platforms. Okay. For instance, we can do video conferencing. And Nels Smith and Snyder 2015 discussed this pretty well. Video conferencing. You may use several platforms. You can have Skype. You can have other forms. You can also use Zoom if you wish, or any other platform. For as long as you are going to have a session, an interview session with your interviewees. Another is telephone interview. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Bernard 1994 that discussed this as early as 1994. But we have also some until 2012. So during the pandemic, we can do it by holding telephone interview using our cell phone or the actual telephone that we have. So we have technology before us that will make qualitative research even a lot easier. In what way? When you do video conferencing, we already have some software, free software available on the net that could transcribe for you the sound. Telephone interview in the same way. And especially when you do some instant messaging as your technology mediated interview. So this is highlighted by Fontes and O'Mahony in 2008. So as early as 2008. So the beauty of doing instant messaging, such as Messenger, when we conduct interviewing. of course, we may not have synchronous. There may be synchronous response or asynchronous, and basic. More often, it may be asynchronous responses. Okay. So, and for transcription purposes, all you have to do is just copy and paste. That's the beauty of having technology mediated. Transcription is a lot easier, unlike the usual face to face. And finally, you have email as technology mediated by Meho 2006. But email, for now, that may be a good platform, but the problem here is it is not as efficient as instant messaging or video conferencing. Okay, so technology mediated modality of interviewing, and the pandemic that we now have makes actually the the data gathering for qualitative research a lot easier because of technology. Now, this was also mentioned by Dr. SPK, but she calls it interview guide. So Creswell 2007 calls this interview protocol. So what is an interview protocol? Interview protocol is not treated as instrument. That's why when we present our qualitative our research output in qualitative research, we don't have a section on instrument, unlike in quantitative research, which may be discussed next week. So you have research instruments like survey. So basically these are scalar. You use scale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So scalar instruments, but we don't have that in qualitative research. It's basically a protocol. It's a guide, interview guide. So it is presented, that in the second person point of view, and essentially it expresses the substance of each of the specific research questions, SRQs. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, let me show you a sample of interview protocol. So in the meantime, let me unshare this PowerPoint presentation. Okay. So for the sample trans no, protocol, this way. Dr. John, can you see it? Oh, no, I think, just wait a second. Okay, interview protocol. Interview protocol. Could you just wait a second, please? Dr. John, can you see it? The
Yes,
interview
sir.
protocol.
Meron po.
What do you see? Because
Answer sheet, midterm formative assessment, interview protocol.
okay, that's it. Just could you just wait a second, please? Uh-huh. Okay, this one. Can you see this one? This is the sample interview protocol. It's formative assessment because I use this in my class. Okay, this was done by my student. I'm a student. So you can see this, Sir John.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so do I need to enlarge it or it's okay? Let me enlarge it.
Na okay naman siya, sir.
This one, there.
Opo.
Okay, so in here you are going to identify whether that is individual or group interview. Okay, this particular student did not interview that. So what is the project about? This is reading, teaching reading in the better normal. So by this student, I should have not shown the name. Okay, and a very brief description of the project. So, why do we have a brief description of the project? This enables us to have the consciousness that, hey, when I'm gonna have my interview, it is always about the project that I have. And I'm always guided by the specific research question. Okay, and look at this one. How do ESL teachers teach reading to blah, blah, blah? And what challenges do ESL teachers experience in teaching reading? Dr. Speaker in her presentation last week talked about the way we formulate specific questions. Okay, now Dr. Speaker talked about a priori coding as your basis for your interview questions. Okay, I don't do that in my class. It's what I do because it's always workshop. In my class, in the graduate studies, is more often it is workshop. After a short discussion, then workshop. So I asked them to come up with at least three questions that they could derive from the first specific questions. Three interview questions. So similar to having a priori coding. Okay. But my reservation in a priori coding is it is going to do some kind of conditioning the researcher that the researcher should be able to find out these things. That's why I don't do that. So it's just that because we have to set aside our bias. So in phenomenology, that is epoche. Okay, you bracket your bias. So I challenge my students, and not only challenge, require my students to come up with at least three research interview questions out of the first and another out of the second, and follow up question if there is a need to. For instance, uh, look at this one. So, how do you teach reading in the new normal? Okay. Do you find it challenging more than the face-to-face? Why? Second question, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, until nine. And I tell my students that this is a very important part because this is our guide. Because we might, in the process, forget to thank our participant, although that is part of our nature. But if it is part of our guide, so at least it is there, and we'll not be able to forget. Then, with the assurance that all the responses will be dealt with utmost confidentiality. So that is how I do it with my students. That's why we follow the form. So, and our university adopted this, especially College of Liberal Arts and Communication graduate studies adopted this. So students are required to come up with interview protocol. So when they do qualitative research, following this format. Okay. So that is interview protocol as our guide. Okay. Let me now unshare and go back to our PowerPoint presentation. Okay. Oh, mm. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, that was interview protocol. Okay, interview protocol. So the interview protocol is our guide. Okay, now interview transcripts. So you conduct the interview and then you stop until you reach data saturation. You actually do not stop interviewing your interviewee. If you have 9 interviewees, the question is, when are you going to stop interviewing one of the 9 before you proceed to the next and the next and so on and so forth? It is by the time that you reach data saturation from that first interviewee. Data saturation is reached when, in asking the same substance of your question in different form, in different phraseology, it's the same answer that is given by students, by the interviewee. Then you now proceed to the next interviewee until your last interviewee, and you have to have your transcript. Now, so as I said earlier on, when we talk about qualitative data or QD, our limitation today is transcripts, not documents, not observation notes or field notes. So there are actually two transcripts here with me. That's why I'm telling you, the way I do it in class is really a workshop style. And had I been face to face with you, I would have required you to have your own transcript. But I'm going to show you, because this is walking you through data qualitative data analysis. Let's start with the transcript. I'll show you a sample transcript that was a result of a Google Meet, so video conferencing, and the other one is Facebook Messenger. So my students, these were my students just last sem, MAESL, a Master of Arts in English as second language, as a second language. Okay, let me show you two of these, just so you have an idea of this. So let me unshare this and go back to this. Um, let's have the Google Meet. Sir John, so I need your assistance. Can you see it? No, not
Wala
yet.
pa po.
Okay.
Ayan na, sir. Meron na.
Okay. So thank you. Thank you. You can see it, but I cannot see it now. Here, it's still reading. Okay, here. So this is the platform that is used, that was last sem, was Google Meet. By the way, all my students in qualitative research submitted their final, that's the manuscript, IMRD, by the end of the semester. I just gave them 1 month of extension, and they were able to do it. That's why when Sir James require you or enjoin you or requires or enjoins you to do your research until May, I think you can do it at least up to the proposal. Okay, so this is the transcript. It's just the same. So this was taken from the Google Meet meeting. So you see November 6, 2020. So this is how the transcripts of my students and my transcript when I conduct interview look like. So it's numbered actually. So you have here numbered. So this is very easy. It's part of the layout. So I think insert. So you just use continuous numbering. What is the numbering for? The numbering is very important by the time that you do your coding. So you will be, for instance, you do your marginal notes here. You know that this is 40 lines 40 to 45. So if you know that it is line 40 to 45, it's easy to go back to the lines. Uh, this is a caveat. You have an automatic numbering when you click it, because one of my students in the past did numbering one at a time, and I said she complained in my class saying, "Sir, it took me the entire night to put the line numbers." Why? I did it manually. Were you present last meeting in my class? No, sir. That's a problem, because all you have to do is just one click, not even 5 seconds. Okay. You don't do it manually. Okay. So this is the result of the interview with students, with the interviewees. Okay. Google Meet. Okay. Let me share the other one, which is Facebook Messenger. Okay, is it now shown, Sir John?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Facebook Messenger, you see that?
Yes po.
Okay, so I really need assistance because I told you it's not good just to be talking about data analysis. I have to show you what to be analyzed. Okay, so this is in Filipino. Now the question, sir, when we present, when we have our transcript, what should be the language? The language is the language of the interviewer and the interviewee. If it is Taglish, then Taglish. If it is in Filipino, Filipino. If it is um, Ilocos or Iloco English, then it is Iloco English, whatever that is. So in here it is Taglish and Filipino. So you see this one. So, but this is in this was done through Messenger. So could you imagine doing an interviewing using Messenger? Okay, that's the first participant one, participant one, and you see there are 30 pages. The other one was 49 pages. Okay, then this is participant 2, November 7, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you have a look at a sample interview. Okay, so let's go back to the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, Sir John, are we back to the PowerPoint presentation?
Wala pa, sir. Nasa
Okay.
transcript pa lang tayo.
Okay, let me see. How about now?
Yan, sir. Okay po.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Please stay with me and bear with me. When I compare to the presentation in the previous series that you have had, this is really different. This is it's a sui generis. It has its own, it's unique because this is supposed to be some kind of a workshop. Actually, you may be wondering how I do the workshop when I present this in other institutions. I was in Bacolod, Honor University of Negros Occidental, Recoletos. I bring with me transcripts and I ask the organizers to reproduce or to give it to participants and so we can do the workshop face to face. But it would be difficult when we do when I do that remotely. So doing the virtual session. Okay. So now this is the bulk. So let me see. It's now 10:38. What's good about what's good about virtual seminar or webinar is that you can do when you feel bored you can do some walking, you can drink your coffee, etc., etc., except of course the lecturer because the lecturer you can always see the lecturer. Okay, so let's have the step-by-step QDA. Okay, so I follow here Miriam 2009, Miriam and Tisdale, that is supposed to be double L, 2015, and Creswell 2007. Okay, so there are three basic and fundamental steps. First is open coding, axial coding, and selective coding. I'm going to walk you through these three basic or major steps to doing qualitative data analysis. Of course, our corpus is transcripts. Okay. First is open coding. When we do open coding, ladies and gentlemen, we do memoing. Memoing, you can find that in Creswell 2007. Memoing is, you may be, what's this memoing? Memoing comes from memorandum. What do we do when we send memorandums? We send a communication, we send a correspondence. Memo is actually the idea is similar, that when you deal with the data, the sample transcript I showed you earlier on, you are going to first do your marginal notes or give your comments on the side. Okay, give your comments on the side. So your comments may be related to the research question because you find some answers already, or your comment may be a question, or it may be a possible significant statement, which was discussed by Dr. Speaker. Okay, so that brings us to the significant statements. And if you have the marginal notes helps you or help you later on to come up with your significant statements. And then initial categories. So these are the sub steps. First is do memoing. Second is formulate significant statements. And third, you come up with initial categories. Let's go one by one. Let's discuss this one by one and do some simulation. Simulation here is by giving you some samples. Open coding, focusing on marginal notes and comments. Just look at this one. This is an image I got from the internet, but I'm going to show you an actual transcript. So I'll show you a sample. So at this point, so let's have the sample. So just bear with me. Let's go. Let's go back to this one, to the word copy, and this is one sample. Can you see it, Mr. Sir John?
Yes
No.
po, sir.
What's the heading? Sample
Sample for memoing
memoing
output.
output. Okay. So look at this one. The interview participant. This is now the transcript. Okay. So I wonder the line numbers were deleted. Okay. So this is a this on the side. So this one, this you see the can you see the cursor moving, Sir John?
Yes, sir.
Okay, these are the notes. That's part of memoing. Okay, for instance, let's see this. First view of P1 using the English language, blah blah blah. Next, reason for first view. Okay, because the research question is first specific research question is, how did the junior high school students view distance modules used in English? Okay, so I memorized it. It's the output of my students. Okay, so second view of P1. P1 is participant 1. So you know that. I don't have to discuss that you need to code your participants. So don't use names. Okay, so English is blah, blah, blah. Reason for this, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is a sample. Okay. What is your pleasure, Sir John? Because as I said, this is supposed to be workshop style, but I'm trying my best to do some simulation by giving you already outputs. Would you like it to have the QA after each step?
Okay na yung
Because
okay
it
na yung
may be
ganito, sir.
because my the point is
Nasiraan, ti.
nasiraan. Okay. What's your pleasure? Or because if we do the QA later on, participants may be going back to this. What's your pleasure?
Okay na yung Okay yung ganito, sir. So, while discussing, tapos example, tapos another, tapos example, ganun.
Yeah, actually, that's how I do it. That's how I
Yes, sir.
presented it. But if there are participants who would want, what they can do, okay, for the participants, what you can do is to have your question um, on the chat box. Yeah, chat box, right?
Yes, sir. They can
Yeah,
put all their questions
yeah.
in the chat
So
box.
could you just check it out, Sir John? If there are questions related to what I'm showing, then we can respond to it. Because uh, as I said, the limitation is this is workshop supposed to be, but I'm trying to simulate it by showing outputs of researchers already. Okay, just
Yes, sir.
so this is for the participants. If you have question in relation to what are being shown, currently shown, what is currently shown, then feel free to ask because I may not be able to shed light on this if you are not going to ask. So these are the memos, marginal notes. Okay. So that is the first step under open coding, memoing, and the entire transcript. This is 30 pages in all. The other one that I showed you earlier on was 49 pages. Could you imagine that? Okay. So welcome to qualitative research. Okay, so let's go back to the PowerPoint presentation. So are there no questions so far, Sir John?
Wala pa, sir, pero meron yung kanina.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. What's that?
Yung,
Can you now see the PowerPoint presentation?
wala pa, sir.
Just wait a second. Okay, this time.
Meron na, sir.
Okay, open coding. You see open coding.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what could be the question? Because if we
From,
delay, if we delay the question, it may not be fresh with them because the workshop. This is not really cerebral that we talk about concepts only, but we have to see the process. Otherwise, we will not be able to understand the process. Because if you read Miriam 2009, Miriam and Tisdale 2015, and Creswell 2007, they are not going to show you this one. They are only going to give you some description, and the description you may be at a loss. But seeing in the workshop style the presentation, then you will be able to appreciate it. Okay, the question, what questions relevant to earlier presentation?
sir, from Ma'am Gray Lawagan,
Mhm.
what would be the most appropriate technique if research is on toponyms of local places?
Hoponyms. Hoponyms, toponyms?
Toponyms, sir.
Hoponyms. Okay,
Toponyms, sir.
yeah, of local places.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what is the best
Um, appropriate technique.
appropriate technique? Uh, One is it's not really in-depth interviewing. It's just simple interviewing and reading of some documents already if the place has some archives. So it's really simple interviewing because uh, you are not going to do in-depth interviewing. You don't talk about lived experiences. So because it's the name of the place that you are concerned about, the history. But if you go from one, especially the old, the elderly, one person to another, it's interviewing and document review. If the place has good literature, by literature I mean any published materials, archival materials. So the main data collection technique is document review. Then secondary is interview. If you have minimal documents, then your main data collection technique is interview. Secondarily, uh, document review. Okay, I hope I was able to answer that.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So, any other?
Wala pa po as
More
of
recent,
the
okay.
moment, sir.
Yeah, so because I haven't invited the audience. So participants, please ask questions, especially with regard to the step-by-step QDA, because as I said, this is really supposed to be workshop, but we cannot. It's difficult to facilitate workshop session virtually, but we can simulate it by showing you example how it is done. Okay, the next is open coding significant statement. After you will do the memoing, the next step is to formulate significant statements. These are just simple sentences that express the points raised or said by the participant study. Okay, so the significant statements actually are sifted from the marginal notes or marginal memoing or marginal notes or outputs from one participant at a time. So one participant at a time. So you look at the marginal notes and check out how you can express the significant statements into simple sentences. Okay. How do we know that such and such is a significant statement? One, first is the statement is repeatedly said by the participant of the study. Second, that the statement though may not be repeatedly said by the participant of the study, uh, is related to the research question. And now the question is, are we going to excerpt verbatim from the transcript? Not necessarily. If you find a very precise statement from the transcript, excerpt. Otherwise, express it in your own words. Okay, so let me give you a sample at this point. Okay, so take note of your question. You may have question later on in relation to this one. We are now on significant statement. Okay. Okay, let me see what happened. Can you now see me, Sir John?
Wala pa, sir. Yung PowerPoint pa lang.
Okay. So this is virtual. So where is that significant statement? Let me. Okay. Interview. Okay. Just could you just wait a second? Memoing interview. Okay. Yes. Just wait a second. Okay. Okay, while waiting, I would appreciate it if you start composing your questions and okay.
Sir, we have a question here.
Yeah, yeah. While waiting for while
Opo.
looking for the significant statement, it's here, sample 5. Okay, could you now ask? We can do multitasking. Um, I'm good at it.
Sir, the question is, do we have different data coding analysis for different methods used in Quali? Example, in Pheno, ethnographic, grounded theory. And then ano po ang pinagkaiba nila in terms of coding?
Okay, I'll go back to that. Can you see the significant statement?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so screen sharing has to stop as the shared window is closed. Okay, but can you see at sample 5?
Sample 5, sir.
Okay, good. So could you say it again, or is there a difference between? Okay,
Um, do we have different data coding analysis for different methods used in qualitative research?
okay.
Example, phenomenology,
Mm-hmm.
ethnography,
Mm-hmm.
grounded
Mm-hmm.
theory, and ano po ang
Mm-hmm.
pinagkaiba nila in terms of coding?
Okay, what I'm presenting to you, ladies and gentlemen, is this is these are the three stages: open, axial, and selective coding that cut across tradition of qualitative research, be it narrative, phenomenological, ethnographic grounded case study. However, when you, this is basic, meaning these are the basic, but when you go into ethnographic research, for instance, then you have a step on culture, how you deal with culture. Okay, how you ferret out the theme, the significant statements with regard to culture. So you have emic, ethic. So there may be some terminologies. When you have phenomenological, you have horizontalization, you have clustering, you have eidetic reduction. So these are the steps. But basically, it is open coding, axial coding, and selective coding. So, especially phenomenology, you have new terminologies in the data analysis, although it's still following open, axial, and selective. So, as I said, you have, in fact, you have bracketing, you have epoche, bracketing, you have horizontalization, you have clustering until you get the essence. The last part is eidetic reduction, and that is the essence, which is the ultimate goal of a phenomenological study. I hope I was able to respond to that.
And
Okay.
then,
Mhm.
meron pang isa, sir.
Sure.
Okay. From Ma'am Daphne Delson,
Mhm.
sir, can you please elaborate the difference between document analysis and content analysis?
Okay, good. So you see, uh, good to have the QA in between, so we'll have some fresher recall of the past part of the lecture. So when we say document review is data collection technique. The document review or document analysis is data collection technique, data gathering technique. Content analysis is data analysis technique. That's the major difference. So I'm using Miriam 2009. So document analysis is different from content analysis. Document is you are given the plethora of documents, thousands of documents. You have to discriminate which of those are supposed to be responding to your research. Will you be able to find appropriate information from all of those many um, it's voluminous documents? Of course not. So you analyze each of the document and do some segregating. Okay, so this one, no, it's not related to my study. This is not related to this. I cannot get data from this. This one, yes, 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 no, yes, no, yes, no, until you'll be able to come up with from 1,000, you only have 150, 153. When you were able to gather the 153 documents, you are finished with your document review or document analysis. Describe it, explain how you did it. That is data collection technique employing document analysis. Now, by the time that you go to the document analysis, content analysis, it's different. It's content analysis is also used in corpus linguistics, in discourse analysis. So you now go from one document to another, looking at examining the content. What are the prevalent points, salient points? What are the themes that could be taken from D1, document 1? Themes that you can from D2. You can actually do open coding. You do memoing also. You come up with significant statements, and then axial coding Then after that is selective coding. So that's the difference. May I repeat? Generally, when we say document review or analysis, data gathering technique. When we say content analysis, it is data analysis technique. So you get the significant statements, themes out of the document, from one document to another, then across the document. So axial coding. I hope I was able to. That's a very good question, in fact. Okay.
Thank you, sir. May
Am
isa pa, sir.
sure. Sir
Ito
John, Sir
naman.
John, am I making sense? Because my reservation actually when I said yes to you, I didn't actually anymore think when I responded to you. When you invited me, I just said I think I said yes immediately, right?
Yes, sir.
And after several days, I was thinking that is I always gave this lecture, not really a lecture but a workshop, and this is actually 1.5 days of workshop. One half day for usually my open coding is 4 hours, so one half. Significant statements, 4 hours. And then selective coding is just 2 hours, including the because there is inner coder reliability test that I also employ in the workshop when I ask them to compare their themes and do some checking out. That is inner coder reliability. I teach that also in a workshop style. So that's why it's 1.5 days. Perhaps when there's no more pandemic, we can do it.
Yes, sir.
I can go
Because
there.
yes, sir. Because
Since you
the
offered your friendship and I accepted your friendship, and we are now friends.
yes, sir. And the
Yeah.
basis kasi, sir, ng mga topics na ginawa namin for the Project Heart, it was based on the recommendations of our teachers.
Okay,
And
good.
they find na mahirap daw, wala pa masyadong knowledge on qualitative research. That's why two meetings po yung nilaan ko for qualitative research, especially on data
Yeah.
analysis.
Yeah.
Kasi
Okay.
nahihirapan po ang faculty members sa paggawa ng qualitative research.
And I'm telling you, when I presented this to several HEIs already, it's 1.5 days just QDA. Mm. In one HEI in Bacolod, University of Negros Occidental, Recoletos, one of the participants of one of the attendees on the second day fainted, and I thought I was remorseful because when I do it face to face, I'm very demanding. Huh? I go from one person to another, etc., etc. Uh, but I thought I was part of the trigger when the participant fainted, but good, it was not. It was not because of me, but the others jokingly attributed to the workshop. Okay, because it's really 1.5 days. So are there some more questions before I explain this one? How I
Yes,
wish
sir.
this were really face to face, and I can help from one to another, because I'm an ambulant presenter. I go from one participant to another. I don't stay on the stage.
Yes, sir. Soon, sir, pag meron na po ang
Yeah.
face-to-face.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
sure. By all means, I would
yes,
love
sir.
to.
You
So,
will.
are there some more questions?
Sir, from Ma'am Jinky, what's the
Mm-hmm.
difference daw po between interpretative phenomenological analysis and
Okay.
thematic analysis?
Okay. Yeah. So, by the word itself, thematic analysis, you go into the themes that you derive from this. Interpretive, actually, it's almost the same. but I would see the interpretive analysis to be from the ethic vantage point, from the researcher's vantage point, whereas the thematic analysis is really from the emic vantage point, and that is from the participants of the study vantage point. So it's just like the difference between transcendental phenomenology and hermeneutic phenomenology. So okay, I just leave it at that, so we can proceed with QDA. I would appreciate it if questions relate to what is at hand at the moment, and then we'll just have that as part of the miscellany other concerns on qualitative research. But that's a very good question. Some more?
Uh, li- Siguro sir later sir yung susunod kasi mga miscellaneous questions na po yung
Okay,
mga
so Sir John, this is how you are going to do. Just check out the chat box. If it relates to QDA, because we are now in QDA, then bring it up. If it relates to general quali, then miscellaneous.
Yes sir.
Okay.
Noted po.
Okay. So some more on QDA. We are now on significant statements. This is sample 5. We have actually 10 samples. Question on QDA?
Wala pa sir.
Okay, we are still under open coding step number 2. Review open coding step number 1 is memoing. Do memoing marginal notes. Next step under open coding is formulate your significant statements. Okay, so where do you base your significant statements? As I said, your memos, marginal notes, then go back to where you can find in the transcript, because the margin is margin. Then you go to the transcript. How will that help? You have the line numbers. I require my students to do this one. They have to identify. Can you see this, Sir John?
Yes sir, yung line
Yeah,
numbers 20 to
line
22.
numbers, yes. So that answering the module is quite hard. So look at the research question. How did junior high school students view distance module, using distance module in teaching English? So, so hard. It is related to that question. But the second one is what were the lived experiences of, or no, I think challenges or lived experiences, something like that. So module is fine, okay, number 29, line number 29, and so on and so forth. That is only transcript 1. When I say transcript 1, this is participant 1. Remember, participant 1. Then go to transcript 2, participant 2. For easy identification, I tell my students to just simply have transcript 1 is to participant 1, because it is possible that participant 1 was interviewed 5 times, so 5 transcripts, but I tell them it should be just 1 transcript, so you will not be confused. Okay, so you see you have line 775. You see this one, line 775. See this, Sir John?
Yes sir.
Okay. So now, then after that, participant 2, take out the significant statement. The module is okay to use. There are parts of the modules that are difficult to understand, and so on. And then after so in transcript 1, there are only 9. Transcript 2, there are 12. That is participant 2. Participant 3, 11. Participant 4, 10. So there is variability. Participant 5, 8. Participant 6, 8. So that means my student here had 6 participants of the study. Okay? So these are sentences. but this one gave 2 sentences. Okay. So now, when I grade my students, there's minus for every breach of instructions. Okay, because we talk about significant statements. One significant statement, one sentence. So this one you have two, but this should just be one. Here you have two, but this should just be one. These are raw outputs of my students last sem. Our second sem started in 3 weeks ago, March, second week of March. Okay, so clear? Do you have some questions on significant statement? Shall I unshare this and proceed with my PPT? Sir John, could you check out if they have questions with regard to significant statement? That is step 2.
Wala pa, sir. Wala pa pong
Okay.
nag...
Can you now see the PowerPoint presentation?
Yes po.
Okay, so significant statements. Okay, so that's open coding. Step 2 under open coding, formulate your significant statements based on memoing. Sift. In Ilocano, sagatem. Is it correct, Jan? Sir Jan?
Yes, sir.
Sagatem nga nasayaat. Okay. Manipud jay marginal notes. So based on the marginal notes, you sift through, in fact, not only based, you sift through your marginal notes. Okay. Next, open coding, the third. Then initially, you convert the significant statements into initial categories. So that is, you sift again. Sagatam manen. When I code switch to Ilocano, not Filipino. So initial categories, you sift again the significant statements into initial categories. And when we say categories, ladies and gentlemen, these are phrases, not anymore statements, single words or phrases. Okay, let's take a look at the sample. Would you imagine this should be workshop number 6? The entire workshop actually is, if I'm not mistaken, 14 workshop sessions. So that's number 6. If I conduct it face to face, let me just see. I can find it. Let me see. QDA initial categories. Okay, there you go. So remember what I showed you earlier on. Can you see it, Sir John? No, not yet.
Yes, sir. Sample 6.
Okay, so a while ago, transcript 1, then you had 9. Remember? Transcript 2, you had 12 significant statements. Remember that? Okay. So you now have initial categories per transcript. Usage and convenience. You say SS1. What is SS1? Based on significant statement number 1. You have a proof. Where do you get that? SS1. What is SS1? Sample 6, significant statement 1. Appearance, the appearance of the module. SS2, significant statement number 2. Let me show you as initial category number 5, challenges. You can find challenges in SS5, SS6, SS7, SS8. Significant statements 5, 6, 7, and 8 lumped together into a category challenges. Then significant statement number 9, errors, and so on and so forth until the 6th participant of the study. Are you? Is it clear so far, Sir John?
Yes, sir.
So I'll just take you as representative of the participants because there has to be a response because I would be looking like a fool here showing this if I don't find response because I cannot see you. As I said, this is workshop simulated. Okay. Okay. So that's it. So
Sir,
what do you
yung
so what oh wait. What do you observe? What actually did you observe? If you were a very keen observer, uh, the memoing you dealt with 30 pages. After memoing, that's the marginal notes. The significant statements, you dealt with 9 pages. The initial categories, you only have three. Okay, 3 pages. 2 pages because the third is different. Okay, so it is uh, it is becoming more abstract. So there is actually abstraction in here. This is explained by Miriam 2009 and Miriam and Tisdale 2015. So it is getting more abstract. It is going up. The higher you go, the more abstract it is. The lower you go, so pyramid, the lower you go, the more particular it is. Yes, you were saying, Sir John?
sa ating Facebook Live, sir, may question.
Yes, yeah,
Oo.
sure. So
Yung
we
sa
are
mga
live on Facebook.
yes, sir, we
Hi,
have
hi, hi there.
yes. Most of our research students, sir, are in our Facebook page.
Okay, okay.
Yung paglagay daw, sir, ng mga initial ng mga
Categories.
categories, sir, is it based on the perception of the researcher daw or meron po tayong parang mga model na mga articles na ginagamit para sa mga
Okay,
paglagay ng mga
that's a very good
categories?
question. That is a very good question. Remember, let's go back to the significant statement. Let me. Uh, where's the significant statement? Okay, this one. Data analysis, significant statement. Okay. So, but you have to remember the first. Okay, let me. Uh, so you will not forget the first category is usage and convenience. And let us see the significant statements. Okay. Number 29, significant statement 29. That was the category. Initial category was convenience. The module is fine. What's the category? Convenience. So uninterpreted it as convenience, and so on and so forth. Where do we get the initial categories? The initial categories may be sifted through the significant statements. For instance, you say the module is quite hard. That is challenge. The discussions are difficult to understand. That is challenge. That's why challenge has three significant statements. uh, SS5, this one, SS5, SS1, SS6. Some words used in the modules are hard. I think that is under difficulty. Okay. Are you now getting the point? I hope I was able to respond to it.
Yes, sir.
Where do you get the categories? You get that from the significant statements. Where do you get the significant statements? You get that from the memos. Where do you get the memos? You get that from the transcript. So we go actually, if you are a very keen observer, it's you move forward, backward, 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 forward, backward, 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 backward. So that is the movement actually. It's cyclical. That is qualitative research. Unlike in quantitative research, which uh, Sir Jim next week will be explaining to you, it's linear. You're through, you use SPSS to data analyze your raw data, which are numerical. After a few seconds, you already have the analysis. All you have to do is to come up with your explanation of the output given by SPSS, which is a software. That's how easy it is to do quantitative data analysis. Qualitative data analysis, no, it is cyclical. uh, you start from here, go back, but you are actually hitting, or from outside going in until you get the bull's eye. That's the theme. Okay, I hope I was able to respond to that. You
Yes,
cannot.
sir.
There's no strict rule of thumb that this should be the categories. No, what should dictate the categories are the significant statements. And what should dictate the significant statements formulation? The memos. Okay, I hope I made. Am I making sense, Sir John? Because I'm
Y-
telling you, this is workshop. I'm not trying to make excuses, because this is really so. What is QDA by the word itself? Qualitative data analysis. Lecture? No, it shouldn't be lecture. I don't do that in my class. What I do is 5-minute lecture, 1 hour workshop.
yes,
That's
sir.
okay. So shall we proceed? Check out
Yes,
if
po.
there are still. We are now on significant no, not significant statements, but initial categories,
Initial
right?
categories.
Okay, so it's 11:21. I hope we'll be able to finish it. So let me share the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, can you see now the PowerPoint, Sir John? No, not yet.
Yes, sir. Meron na po. Part 2.
Okay, so we're through with initial categories. Okay, and we are done with open coding. So, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about open coding, it is one participant at a time, one transcript at a time being analyzed. We didn't do cross participant or cross transcript analysis, because that is actual coding. You know axis, ladies and gentlemen. You have the uh, I hope that the mathematicians here um, wouldn't react badly if I say wrongly. Okay, you have the y-axis and x-axis. Am I right? Am I right, Sir John?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's why there's crossing. See, there's crossing. Axial, there's an axis. There is a meeting point. Meeting point of what? Meeting point of the transcripts, of course. Okay. So what is axial coding? It is this part of coding where you are already going to compare one transcript to another, especially the categories from one transcript to another. Okay. So across participants, across transcripts. So I told you earlier on, one transcript, one participant. Compare. Somebody wrote on the, excuse me, Sir John, somebody wrote something on
Sige, sir. I-check ko po.
Grail Liwagan. Do you have some question, Miss Grail Liwagan? You're writing something on the screen. Miss Grail Liwagan, you might have some questions, please. You wrote here compare. What do you mean by compare? You might have some question. It's okay, I can entertain now your question while I look for the sample.
Baka nag-take down notes siya, sir.
Okay, then
Tapos, opo.
mistakenly
Yes,
on
sir.
okay, that happens. Don't worry. So let me now share you a sample. This one, actual coding. As I said, when we say actual coding, we refer to cross coding, okay? Cross transcript coding. Let me just look for it. We are now on a master list. Okay. Okay. Can you now see it, Sir John?
Yes, sir. Sample 7.
Sample. Okay, very good. Okay. You may be wondering, look at this TCT1. See this one. Why is there? How does actual coding happen now here? Okay. Fasten your belt. This is how my student underwent the analysis. Yep. Okay. Okay. So T1 is transcript 1. T is transcript. IC is initial category. Okay. So here comes category, usage, and convenience. Where do you find that? There has to be a basis for your category. Otherwise, it should not be a candidate category, master list, putting together across transcript. In here, you have 13. 13. Earlier on, per transcript, there's variability. You have 6, 8, 7, 9, 10, something. So you can see actually here the number. Okay, use and convenience. Where can you find proofs here? Transcript 1, initial category 1. You can also find that in transcript 2, initial category 1. Transcript 4, initial category 1. Transcript 5, initial category 1. Transcript 6, initial category 1. Appearance. Where can you find that? Okay, this should have been color coded. Sorry, I didn't have much time anymore to do some color coding. Transcript 1, initial category 2. Transcript 2, initial category 3. Transcript 3, initial category 4. Surgeon, can you see the cursor moving?
Yes po.
Transcript 4, initial category 3. Transcript 5, initial category 4. Look at category number 3 on the master list. So in here we have 13 candidate themes now. Okay. So, and so on and so forth. Do you have question in relation to actual coding, coming up with the master list? Actual coding, as I said, you now do cross analysis, but on the level of categories, not significant statement. Question so far. Perhaps your question, why do we still have to identify this? So that by the time that you present the result, you are going to necessarily excerpt from your transcript. And this will give you where to find in your transcript. Could you imagine if you don't have a system, you will be spending so much time, you will be wasting so much time going back again to the transcript. But if you have this, uh, the significant statement tells you the line number, the initial category tells you the significant statement, uh, and so on and so forth. Okay, sorry, John, are there some questions? We are now on sample 8,
Wala pa sir, wala pa
7.
pong naglalagay. So baka nag-iisip pa sila.
Okay, now it's 11:28. So let me just stay here. I don't have to go back to the PowerPoint presentation because it's the same. It's the same document, Word document. After the actual coding is selective coding. What is selective coding? That is the third. It is now the time for you to re-study all the candidate, because these are now the candidate themes. But 13 themes as findings may be too many. Initially, from on face value, that may be too many. Now, do selective coding. How are you going to do it? You study carefully the candidate themes, because there are some of the themes may actually be expressing the same thing. Example, difficulties may also be challenges. Okay. So, and so on and so forth. So you do that. So you go back and forth to this identified master list. Then after that, come up with the final theme, selective coding. Could you imagine? Out of 13, you now have 6. These are appearance. Appearance C1, C2. C1, this is C1. This is C2, and that also includes convenience. Next is content difficulty of tasks, C3, 4, and 12. C3, difficulty of task, content, and 12, 12, where's 12? 12, ease of understanding. So content and difficulty of task. So that means what can you say about the content? So there may be easy part and the difficult part of it. Then learning support, this one, C9, C9, so that's the benefit, and C10. And you have the support. Usage, I forgot. Usage is C1, difficulties experience. Now, you may be wondering, what's the difficulties here and the difficulties here? The first research question, let me now show you the research question. How did the junior high school students view distance modules in English? The second is, what were the lived experiences of junior high school students in using modules in English, distance modules in English? So the difficulties here refer to the lived experiences. The difficulty here is the tasks themselves. Then C5, C8, then coping mechanism C7. So out of 13, ladies and gentlemen, there are now 6. The first 3 are answers to the first specific research question in blue. And the second set, next 3 are answers to the second specific research question. So the 2 research questions have just been answered after doing the data analysis, from open coding to selective to actual coding to selective coding. These are now the themes, which are the findings of the study. So before I leave, I unshare this. Are there some questions in relation to selective coding? Final themes.
Sir, sa Facebook page, may
Yes.
question sila. Sir, ilan daw ba yung parang required na mga teams sa final teams, sir? Ilan daw pa yung parang um, required na sagot?
Okay, very good question. I'm going to highlight that in Ceres, Ballena, and Liwag 2019. But to put the cart before the horse, there is no rule of thumb as to the number of final themes. The point in here is that depends on the transcripts. That depends on the documents. Okay. But, okay, although that's the general rule, if you have 13, 13 themes with only 30 pages of transcripts, I doubt. I may not have read your paper. I'll just ask questions. How long is your transcript? 30 pages, sir. Okay. So, how many how many themes or final categories have you come up with? 13, sir. How many research questions do you have? 2, sir. Oh, how many themes have you found out to be answers to the first? 6, sir. How about the second? 7, sir. You know, my advice, go back to the 13 because the 13 may be, some of them may be inclusive test of exclusivity that is in series. In short, there's no rule of thumb. But to have only two themes, that's the extreme of it. Two themes? One theme for research question number one, another theme for research question number two? That is subject to doubt. Let's go back to your transcript. So always go back to the transcript. Cyclical. Go back to the transcript. Go back to the transcript. That's why if you don't have a system, ladies and gentlemen, if you are not quite systematic in dealing with your transcript, you will be wasting so much time. Systematic. One, line numbers. Do you have some line numbers? Do you, are your marginal notes in place? Do you have your significant statements alongside line numbers? Do you have your initial categories alongside respective significant statements? And that is part of trustworthiness of the study. Trail, you see the trail. If you look back, you can see the trail walking you through data analysis. After walking, you walk a distance, you go back, you see your trail. If you cannot see your trail, something's wrong with your data analysis. I hope I was able to respond to that question. So some more on this before I will unshare it, and because after this is Ceres.
Okay na, sir. Miscellaneous questions na po yung iba ulit.
Oh, so most are on the miscellaneous. I didn't
Yes,
expect
sir.
that.
Because most of our comments, sir, they are now relearning how to do qualitative study.
Okay, so let's see. Can you now see the PPT?
Yes, sir. Part 2.
Okay, so we are done with this. The final themes, where do we get that? We sift from the master list of categories. Tagatan tayo manan. Okay, so let me just summarize. To do the step-by-step qualitative analysis, we actually spent 1 hour for this one. We have open coding, memoing. The first step is memoing. After that is still under open coding, you formulate significant statements. Should be one sentence, one significant statement. That's the ratio. And then open coding, initial categories. The open coding, because you are dealing with one transcript at a time. One transcript, one participant at a time. By the time that you do actual coding, you do it you do some crisscrossing across participants, across transcript. Then selective coding, that is the final themes. At this juncture, let me show you the workshop form. Okay. So you will have, would you like to see it, or we can proceed with the next? Because we can dispense with this one. Sir John, what's your pleasure? Sir
Sige,
John.
sir. I-con nyo po yung next na...
I'll show this one.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you want it? Where is that? Workshop form. Can you see it?
Yes, sir. Sample 9.
Okay. This is so the first part is workshop 1. This is workshop 1, open coding marginal notes. Usually students spend 3 hours to do this one, 3 to 4 hours. Workshop 2, open coding, actual significant statements. Usually this is 2 hours to 3 hours. So they do it this way. They followed it this way. SS1, line number, SS2, line number. What is the output here? It's the transcript with the marginal notes. I cannot show it to you here. So because submitted separately. So this one, they do it this way, line numbers. Okay, so that depends on how many transcripts. After that is workshop 3, open coding. These are the instructions. So transcript 1, transcript 2, with SS number. Okay. Then after that is workshop 4, that is actual coding. Okay. Then workshop 5, that is the second day, the half day, that is the final category. So this is the workshop form. This is my final period enabling assessment for my qualitative research in English as a second language, MAESL students. I also use this in qualitative research for my PhD students. Okay, so question on this workshop form. Perhaps this is just a summary actually of what I showed you so far. Okay, so let me unshare it. Okay, and am I making sense, Sir John?
Yes, sir.
Really?
Yes po.
Can you now see the PPT
Hindi pa sir, yung assessment 3 pa lang po. Yung workshop
this
outputs.
time?
Yan sir.
Okay. Okay, so there's still one more thing, so that you will appreciate what we went through in simulation. It would be best if you see the entire paper, right, Sir John?
Yes po.
So things will make sense. What happened? Because this is actual result. Let me see the entire paper. I should have um, what's this entire paper? Okay, this one. Can you now see it, Sir John?
Yes sir.
Okay, this is now the output of my student. I hope I remove the name. Let me see if yeah, I removed the name. This was submitted March 13, 2021. It's still hot. I haven't graded yet because I spend my time preparing for this instead of reading the works of my students. So this is now it. So new normal modules for junior high school students. That's the title. Presented to Constantino T. Ballena. See, I don't use my PhD here. I tell my students it's not quite important. Okay, then that's the student, March 13. The, even the spacing here, I gave them a formula. The abstract, okay, with keywords. This is the table of contents. Let me enlarge a bit. Okay, how are we going to do that? Okay. Can you see it clearly, Sir John?
Yes sir.
See the introduction. We are following IMRD introduction. This is the introduction. Sorry. Introduction, method, results. But my students did not really follow my instruction. She used separate discussion and conclusion. Anyway, it's a matter of presentation. Okay, see the method, the research design, participants and sampling, data collection technique, data qualitative analysis, and trustworthiness. There is trustworthiness here. She failed to show. And this is the first research question, right? The students' views of their distance modules. These are the themes. Second research question. These are the themes. Then you have discussion, conclusion. Look at this one. If you look at the pages, this is 110 pages. But actually, the paper is only composed of minus appendices 26 pages. It's the appendices. What were appended? Okay, take a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Letter to the participants, that is to show their consent. Interview protocol, interview transcripts, open coding memoing. I showed that to you earlier on. Open coding significant statements. I showed that also to you earlier on. And initial categories, actual coding, selective coding. Hence, you have 110 pages of their presentation. So this is the paper now. The paper until references is only 25 or 26 pages. Okay. Okay, so that's the statement of the problem. That's the method. The research design is basic qualitative research, participants and sampling, data collection technique and procedure, interviewing here, data analysis, Ceres, of course, they used my, she used my paper. Okay, trustworthiness. This is what I was telling you earlier on. Trustworthiness. This is an indispensable part of chapter 2. Okay. So on the trustworthiness, she talked about credibility and trustworthiness using Guba and Lincoln to 1985 incorrect citation. Uh, prolong these engagements, okay, etc., etc. Then chapter 3, results and discussion. It's in the table of contents that is wrong, but in here it is correct. Results and results, perspectives on module, this theme 1, etc., etc. Then you go to the, okay, this is the references, page 25. Then after that, appendices. So from pages 28 to 110, appendices. Paper is only 27 pages, double spaced. Okay. So I think we need to proceed further. It's 11:46. Okay. Let me now share. Okay. Can you see the PPT, Sir John?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we are now on the summary. Okay. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the summary of the entire step-by-step QDA analysis. And I showed you the entire paper, which was broken down into bits and pieces from open coding, memoing, as under open coding, memoing, significant statement, and initial categories to actual coding, master list, then selective coding, final themes. Okay. Are there some questions on QDA? None. None so far. Okay, let's proceed further. So time check is it's now 11:47. So I'm monitoring my time. So the question that was raised earlier on is how many themes should we have, the final themes? There are actually criteria that we need to follow in determining not exactly the number of themes. I would say in determining the final themes. The number will just be consequential. I call this series. Conceptual congruence is C. E, exclusivity test. 3, R is responsiveness. 4 is exhaustiveness. 5 is sensitivity. You may be wondering, oh, by the way, what's this one? Page 71. Uh, This is based on Miriam 2009 and Tisdale 2015. You cannot actually find this as is as like this one. No, uh, I came up with this one, and then when I co-published with Liwag was my student in qualitative research. So we published work and we came up with the Ceres criteria. Ceres is what I came up with as our contribution to the study. Okay, what is conceptual congruence? So by the word itself, congruence, then congruence of concepts. So there is conceptual congruence as explained in Ballena and Liwag 2019, page 71, when all themes belong to the same conceptual level. What's that, sir? Go back to your English 101. And that is parallelism. Noun, noun, noun. So that's actually conceptual congruence. So don't mix noun and verb. Okay. So that's conceptual congruence. So That means that the different themes should belong to the same level. If they are nouns, nouns, nouns. Next is, this is more important, is exclusivity. What does exclusivity mean? When one identified theme should mutually exclude the others, meaning this theme, if you have 5 themes, this theme snubs the other 4, meaning it does not essentially connect to this, nor essentially include this or the other one, but this is an answer to the research question. If this is essentially having the same meaning as this, then there is no exclusivity, there is inclusivity. So these two should be merged. So there is merging. Hence, the 13 earlier categories presented in the master list, there was merging until the student, the researcher was able to come up with only 6 by using exclusivity tests. Okay. What about responsiveness? Responsiveness, by the root word response, respond. So that the identified themes were the direct answers to the research problems or objectives of the research. Yeah, you have 5, for instance. Question: is this theme responsive to the research question? Is this theme responsive to the research question? Meaning, does this theme answer the research question? Is this theme an answer to the research question? If the answer is yes, yes. Exhaustiveness, by the word itself, exhaust is the root word. The identified themes were enough to encompass all the relevant data contained in the transcripts. Go back to the transcripts. Go back to the significant themes. Were you able to really get all the essential themes? Do your themes reflect all the significant statements? Exhaustiveness. So get all the themes, but make sure that the themes are responsive to the research question. And finally, sensitivity. What does sensitivity mean? That the identified themes were reflective of the qualitative data. In short, they had strong and material support from the data. That's why there should be identification of the line number, identification of the significant statement number, so that when you go back to it, you do some verification, going back to the transcript itself, themselves, then you will have the confidence to say, yeah, all my themes were sensitive to the qualitative data. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are the CERES criteria, Ballena and Liwag, 2019, page 71. Conceptual congruence, exclusivity, responsiveness, exhaustiveness, and sensitivity. Now, given the limitation of time, I'll just show you the different criteria for us to be able to make sure that our qualitative study is indeed trustworthy. It's worthwhile. And we go back to Lincoln and Cuba 1985. Then you say, but sir, is it that we are supposed to be getting at least at the most up to 10 years from today, that is 2021, so 2010? No, not necessarily. Lincoln and Cuba had the seminal paper on evaluating qualitative research. Okay, in their book Naturalistic Inquiry. It's part of the references. Okay, and the criteria are credibility, that your qualitative study should be credible, that there should be transferability, that there should be dependability, and finally confirmability. Okay, I'll just do it very fast because it's 11:54 here. It's 11:54. So by credibility, we mean there is confidence in the truth of the findings. That when you say these are the six themes and these are the findings, there is confidence in the truth. In the prayer earlier on, we talk about the truth, and Jesus is the truth, the way, the truth, and the life. Are we really expressing the truth? Do we say that we are confident that we are telling the truth? Go back to your transcript. How do you do that? Have you had really prolonged engagement with your participants of the study? If it were ethnographic research, did you have a persistent observation? Did you do triangulation? This was explained by Dr. Spina, triangulation. How about credibility? Still credibility. How do we still maintain credibility? Peer debriefing. So you need the help of peer as co-researchers. In what's this? Not Litzman 2006. There is intercoder reliability. So compare it with your colleague. You ask your colleague to say something about what you did. That's why when I hold a workshop, we only have one transcript, one set of transcripts. So there is peer debriefing by the time that you compare your themes. Then negative cases analysis, referential adequacy, you refer to this. All of these are explained in GUBA, Lincoln and GUBA. Member checking and so on and so forth. What about transferability? Showing that the findings must have applicability in other contexts. For instance, this is the study. You know that qualitative research is context-based, contextualized. For instance, the study that I showed you earlier on was distance module used in English. If you do a study on how students perceive module in math or so, in your context, there's transferability of findings. Will there be transferability of findings? How do we do that? So there has to be thick description of your method, meaning you explain well so that when somebody replicates your study, then he or she may be able to uh, follow the similar path. Next is the third is dependability. Dependability is shown when the findings are consistent and could be repeated. So there's consistency of findings, so that when you put it in another context, more it is more probable that these are the findings. How you do some inquiry audit. Inquiry audit, you go back, you do audit. So how is this done? Just read Lincoln and Guba, 1985. And finally, confirmability. What is confirmability? It is the degree of neutrality or the extent to which the findings of the study are shaped by the respondents and not the researcher's bias, motivation, or interest. That's why I told you earlier on um, that caveat to using a priori coding when you prepare your interview protocol. Caveat, it's a word of caution. Make sure that your bias will not creep into the process, because if your bias comes in, then it is not anymore the respondents that are being heard in your findings, but it is you. Remember that in qualitative research, the qualitative researchers are the scholarly mouthpiece of the respondents. Okay. How do you do that? How do you do that audit trail? Go back to your transcript. These are the themes. Do these themes reflect the respondents' responses? Okay. conformability audit, etc., etc. Okay, so there's triangulation, there's reflexivity, and so on and so forth. So these are the evaluative criteria: conformability, dependability, credibility, and transferability. Okay, finally, some miscellaneous. My miscellany here are not really on qualitative research. The other one is yes. I'm not sure if you are familiar with Purdue OWL. This is online writing laboratory. I advise you to check it out. This is a big help for teachers of research and researchers writing their researches. If you check this out, it points you to writing the intro, etc., and citation, etc. So it's online writing laboratory. Check this out. And finally, part of my miscellaneous, I invite you to become members of ACRA if you are not yet a member of this, because they have a regular seminar. In fact, the next webinar that they are going to have, if I'm not mistaken, is April 8 or 12. So I regularly attend their seminar. I'm a member, although I'm only a bronze member. There are three categories. First is bronze, free membership. All you have to do is register. And you have some benefits, of course. The other one is silver membership. That is 1 year of membership. And third is this is gold lifetime membership. I think silver, if I'm not mistaken, is 500 or 1,000. Lifetime is 5,000. I'm only a bronze member. I already expressed my intention to be a lifetime member of ACRA. ACRA is Association of Qualitative Research, Asian Association of Qualitative Research, which was founded in 2015. Just check this out. Okay, I think we are ready for it's now, oh, exactly 12 o'clock. So thank you for listening and God bless. So perhaps we can now have open forum.
Yes, sir. May mga
I understand Dr. Speaker last week had 3 hours of presentation and went until 12:30 or 1 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken.
yes, sir. Nag-extend po.
A very patient and generous colleague. Okay, so you may now facilitate the question and answer.
All
So
right.
I'm Amboy. I
May mga
I
questions
hope,
sila, sir.
Sir John, I hope I made sense. I told you the limitation is really this is a workshop thing. I hope I was able to walk you through qualitative data analysis through the simulated outputs of my students.
Yes, sir. Based on the initial evaluation, masaya pong ating mga participants sa binigay niyong talk this morning at nakatulong po lalong-lalo na po sa analysis, lalong-lalo na sa mga qualitative research na mga students natin.
Especially interviewing as the main technique. Okay.
Yes, sir. Especially that most of our students, ang alam lang po nilang uh, concept is the thematic analysis. Pero yung
Okay.
way on how to do analysis of data, doon po nahihirapan ng mga students
Okay.
natin.
So at least you have the open coding, action
Yes, sir.
coding, and selective coding. And teachers of research, I advise you to require your students to submit all. I require my students to submit all outputs as part of the appendices. That's why if you look at the paper of my MAESL students, that's done in one sem. Our first sem started in October, November, December, January, February. So 5 months. So they were able to submit it. I just gave them 1 month of extension, so March 30th, because Our first semester ended on the first week of Feb, but I gave my students 1 month more to accomplish the writing. Actually, it's the writing. Before I we left before we ended the semester, they were already able to. They had all the workshops. They had the themes. All they had to do is to write chapter 3 because they were able to write chapters 1 and 2 already. So that means that you can also do that, as Sir James earlier on challenged everyone. Okay, yes, Sir John.
Sir, from my question tayo dito, does reaching saturation pertain to the recurrence, the same information from one participant and not the recurrence of same answer from different participants?
Okay, very good question. The answer is both. Okay, let me explain. So, how many times? Because you cannot just have one session with one participant finish. No, let me put it in the context of face-to-face or video conferencing, not messaging, instant messaging. So after 30-minute session with the participant finish, no, uh, check out, go back to the transcript. Were you able to get all the information that you need? So you need another session and another. That's why my students had until 5, 6 sessions. Now, when do you terminate your session with one participant? When you reach data saturation. And data saturation means that it's the same answer that recurs. Same answer recurs, although you ask the question in different form. But, how do you know that there is a recurring of the same answer? Caveat: do not ask the same question. You ask the same sense of the question in different form. Okay, but the answer is the same, also in different form. Hence, there is data saturation. That is um, individual interviewee context. Now, when do you need to have more participants? When do you end? For instance, you have 6 already, 7. Do you need some more? Some more. When uh, when the answers are repeated and there's nothing new after interviewing the ninth interviewee, it is the same answer that you are getting. It may be that to some of the questions the same, but not to other interview questions. Proceed. Until such time that all your interview questions based on your protocol, when asked in different form, answers are the same. That means there's nothing new anymore. After meeting interviewee 11, there's nothing new anymore. If that is the case, it's time for you to terminate your um, interview with participant. So you end with participant 11. So that is data saturation from the vantage point of one interviewee and from the vantage point of all the interviewees, or how many interviewees are you going to have. At any rate, following Creswell 2007, it is not the number of participants that matters. What matters is the quality of responses. And when there is recurrence of responses, it's time for you to end your interviewing. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Our VP Academic, Sir James, has a question.
I hope I'll be able to answer that, Sir James.
Yeah, thank you, Doc Ambo.
Yeah,
I was really working on some papers while listening to your lecture, no?
yeah.
And in all honesty, and I also told this to Doc Felina last time, because I was in the non-academic area. I was VP Admin, Dean of Student Affairs for
Mm-hmm.
some time. And of course, my work did not really require me to do research.
Yeah.
Not until I was appointed some 6 years ago to be VP Academics,
And you,
and has to also show to the teachers that I can do research, which
so.
I did. I challenged myself, and I did publications for the last how many
Uh-huh.
years being
Mm-hmm.
VP ACAD.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, most of the papers I wrote, it's a mixed method and a touch of qualitative then. And Doc Amboy, is it a
Just
violation?
simply, sir, Sir Amboy. I don't want to be
Okay.
called Doc.
Yeah, Amboy, my
Yeah,
newfound friend.
yeah.
Uh, is it a violation if you give your questionnaire in advance? I mean, the questions you would want to ask in
Uh-huh.
an interview, is it a violation or that could be of help and eventually in the interview we'll just need to have a follow up and all that?
Okay. This is my perspective. I have yet to read on that because my favorite quali authors are Creswell, Miriam, uh, originally Miriam, Sharon B. Miriam was a single author of the same book, Qualitative Research. Until 2015, the third revision, she co-authored it with Tisdale, 2015. So, and you have Litzman 2006, and there's a newer version of Litzman. I haven't come across that, but based on my experience, there are several types also of interviewees, and usually the educated ones are those who would ask you in advance.
Mm,
But it's not to discriminate, but those, especially those who are very busy, could you because they don't feel quite comfortable if they are asked on the spot, if they are not prepared because their position, etc., etc. But to simple people, they don't care about having it in advance. In fact, oh, let's just talk because especially when we follow the unstructured, because there are three types. You have which was explained by Dean Speaker. You have the structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. My presentation actually, which I failed to highlight earlier on, is semi-structured. Semi-structured. That is the most commonly used format because the unstructured is usually for uh, really, especially phenomenological phenomenon because you really go into the person and narrative analysis. So now the question is for unstructured, no, in the first place, you don't have it. Semi-structured, if you are dealing with a busy person, usually the person would ask, "Is that a violation?" I don't think it is a violation because in the first place, it is the uh, researcher who will be in control during the interview. That's the difference between qualitative and quantitative. In quantitative research, so long as you have the questionnaire, give it to somebody else. That somebody else will administer the same, etc. Finish. That's it. But in qualitative research, you have to do the interview yourself. You cannot ask somebody else unless somebody is a co-researcher. So
mm,
it's not really a violation. But the point is, it may sound a violation, for it may give some bias if you did not include that in your methodology. If it is not part of if it was not part of your thick description of your method, then some kind of you hid it, so that becomes a violation.
mm,
Otherwise, it is not.
mm,
Uh, the not so good about it, so it's not also a violation, is um, we are giving the person time to prepare and think about responses to the question, and the possibility of giving superficial answers, artificial answers because of the position. That's why, how do you mitigate that possibility? Since you are in control during the actual interview, then change the question, change the form. Same substance, change the form. Because if you ask the same question, the same form of the question, ah, amok daytan. So kastoy ti answer na. Kunanan ton. For this, I know. This is how I'm going to respond to it. But if you ask the same question in different phraseology, different statement, different interrogative sentence, then you are able to mitigate possible superficial answers, possible um, artificial answers. Then, in short, you know what to do when you are facing the person to be able to maintain credibility of your findings later on. In short, it's not really a violation.
Thank you, Amboy. And
Yes.
with that, well, in fact, I already sent my friend request to you.
Sure, by all
And
means.
yeah,
And my I use my name actually is Constantino Ballena. It's not my nickname that I use on Facebook, so that
okay,
others may see me if they wish to connect with me.
yeah, yeah. I saw Constantino Amboy Baliena.
Yeah, on my
Ah,
PPT. Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, well, we pray that there will be an opportunity for you to be in school.
Yeah, sure.
Well,
I would love.
physically, I
I would
know
love
that
to.
yeah, the vaccines will be in by the end of the
Yeah.
year or even earlier, and I know there will be an opportunity because,
Yeah.
as you know, USL is growing in terms of its quest for research.
Mhm.
We are as happy with the hard work of our research heads like Darin, John,
Yeah,
and
Sir John is like your university is like BDO with Sir John. Yeah.
yeah,
Sir John finds a way, and like a
yeah.
Metro Bank, you're in good hands.
Yes, sir.
Because
Yes,
I read
Amboy.
your heart project, and my God, I was really impressed, huh? The
Uh,
heart project.
and there are two others with that Project Heart that we
Project Heart,
submitted
yeah,
to Ched.
Project Heart, not Heart Project, Project Heart, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And yes, we continue to pray for both
Sure.
schools. And
Ah, sure, by all
well,
means.
the LSU Dasma is like our sister school. In fact, I was telling you about Asian University Digital
Yes,
Resource Network.
yes.
And we met plenty of friends. Of course, Olive uh,
Legaspi.
Legaspi is a friend of mine too
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
because of connection with ISA of Ched.
Yes, 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 yes.
Mhm, mhm. So thank you very much, Amboy, and
Yeah, my
looking forward to
pleasure.
have you in USL later.
Yeah, my pleasure. Uh,
God bless.
sure. It's really my pleasure, and I'm humbled with your offer of friendship. Okay. So, are there some more, John?
Thank you, sir. May comment din sir sa Facebook Live na parang misconception din kasi most of the time, sir, pag pinapagawan daw sila ng qualitative research, kung ano daw yung research objectives, yun na rin daw yung nilalagay nila sa interview.
No, no,
Yun na rin daw
I
ang
didn't get it. I
uh,
didn't get it.
sa kwan, sir, kung yung mga pinapagawan daw po ng mga qualitative research, kung ano daw po yung research questions or research objective nila, yun na din daw po yung ginagawa nilang interview questions.
That's a very good point that you raised. That is a misconception and a malpractice. In fact, you are not supposed to be asking your research question when you when you have your interview. That's why I said earlier on, you derive at least three interview questions from each of your research question. And to be modest, just come up with two research questions. I tell my for my MA students and PhD students, even when I advise thesis and dissertation, don't come up with many research questions. Just come up with two modest research questions, at most three. And then when you come up with your interview protocol, you derive your interview questions from the research questions. Do not ask the same question. Could you imagine you ask the same question in the first place? The research question is in the third person. Now my linguistics is activated, and the interview question is in the second person point of view. Something is wrong. So don't ask don't use your research question or objective as your interview question. Okay, so good you brought that up because it happened also in my class actually. Two of my students last sem did that, and I said, no, that's quite unacceptable. Okay, I hope I was able to make sense. Am I making sense, John?
Yes,
Be
sir.
be honest, huh?
Kami pong mga tawag doon, mga misconceptions na lumabas.
Okay.
At ito po yung mga comments nila sa evaluation natin. And they are
Okay.
thankful kasi yun nga, na-discuss po ng maigi itong mga, at least na napalitan na po kung ano yung mga thinking nila pagdating sa qualitative research.
Okay.
Yes, sir. May another content po tayo, sir. Required po ba ang rigor sa qualitative research?
Come again. Come again.
Required daw po ba, sir, ang rigor?
Rigor.
Yes, sir.
Rigor. When we say rigor, because qualitative research is itself rigorous undertaking. So by rigor, we mean we really have to work very hard. And for you to be able to deal with qualitative research with its rigor, you have to be patient. You have to be hardworking. And you have to be Mr. and Miss Congeniality. Remove Mr. and Miss Congeniality, you will not get any information, substantial information. That is rapport. Rigor goes with rapport by the time that you do the interviewing. So the rigor is, look at the just the presentation earlier on. You see the rigor from the interview transcript, having your marginal notes memoing to the significant statements, to the initial categories, then you cross it. So that's already a very rigorous undertaking. So there's rigor, in short, in qualitative research. It's it's actually easy. That's why, don't you know that I and my brother had a back-to-back presentation sometime in Boracay. We were invited. The whole day I handled qualitative research. The following day he did quantitative research. On the first day, the participants liked the presentation because I put it alongside, I contrasted it with quanti, then putting some critique on quanti. Then they say, wow, I like quanti. But when my brother took over the following day, they shifted to quanti because quanti is really, really a lot easier, in fact. But it was a very good undertaking. That's why when I saw my brother to be the next speaker next week, yeah. So it's a similar instance. But I didn't critique on quanti. Don't tell him I didn't critique quanti. I actually didn't invite him to attend today's session.
Mapapanood niya din to, sir, sa
Yeah.
Facebook.
He's younger. He's my younger brother.
Sir, may isa pa pong question kung okay lang, sir.
Oh, sure. I don't mind. Anyway, I'm at home, so this is our house.
Yes, sir. Most of our participants nasa kanilang bahay naman, sir.
I'm running low. Wait. Okay. I hope it's not going to end. Okay.
Okay. Sir, from ito po question from St. Mary's University. Hello sa mga friends natin sa St. Mary's University Bayumbong. Uh, what about kung gumamit daw po ng observation? Should it undergo the same data analysis or
Okay.
should it be used for triangulation only?
Okay. Okay. That's a very good point. Uh, I answer it in two ways. If you do ethnographic research, your main your main data collection technique is observation. And what are your data? Your data are your field notes, your journals. So, for instance, today you're out in the field observing. You have your journals. When you go back to your room, come up with a journal. The following day, and so on, until you completed your 6 months of observation. So that may mean so much. It's voluminous journals, field notes. Do the same thing as what we did. Now, if observation is a secondary, it's just a secondary to interviewing. Yeah, that may just be part of your triangulation. It's a different technique, focusing on the same phenomenon of study, and that is part of your triangulation. But again, you have your notes, you have your journals, because I couldn't figure out somebody observing without journals. By journals, I don't mean scholarly journals. I mean your what you wrote down after your observation, or some of your notes with you. So and you're subject to almost if since it is secondary, it is a bit easier because you have thinner notes compared to ethnographic, which employs observation. You have voluminous documents or corpus. So if it is a secondary, you may also do the open coding, axial coding, and selective coding, but it is a lot easier because you have thinner, very thin. Then come put it alongside your interview findings, then see how one corroborates the other, how one supports the other. That's why when because I am a reviewer in international journals and national some local journals. When the author mentions observation as part of the data collection techniques, but mainly it is interview. But in the data analysis, there was no mention of observation data happened. There has to be an analysis of the observation data. How did you do it? And in the presentation of the themes, what are your support coming from your data, observation data? So something like that. So that's how I answer the question. So first, if it's secondary to interview, so it's just you may follow the same, but it is a lot easier for triangulation purposes. But if it is ethnographic, it's almost the same as what we did today. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Sir,
Mhm.
medyo mas marami tayong mga questions sa Facebook.
Yeah, you can do that. It's okay. It's all right.
Sir, is it all right daw kung they will make use of video conference or phone interview for the first interview and then messenger or instant messaging na for succeeding
Okay, okay,
interviews?
okay. That's a very nice question, huh? I like that question. You see, uh, you can have a mixed. It's not mixed method. Mixed platforms. mixed modalities when you hold interview. It is okay. Same person, same interview. It's okay, because why do we have to be? That's in qualitative research, flexibility is one of the characteristics of a researcher. Why do we insist on video conferencing, since we started with the video conferencing to be until the end of my session with this participant of the study? If at some point he has some problems with video conferencing and would want it to be using instant messaging, then shift to instant messaging. It's okay, but describe it in your method. That's already procedure. That's not technique. What's the technique? Interview. What's the procedure? That depends. Use video conferencing and email and instant messaging for 3 of your 6 participants of the study. So as you have to explain it that way. For instance, you have 9 participants of the study. 3 of them, you have a combination of email, video conferencing, and instant messaging. 5 of them, you have a combination only of video conferencing and instant messaging, and one purely video conferencing. It's okay. Just describe. You have to have a thick description that is trustworthiness. I like the question. I like the question.
All right. Thank you po sa mga nagbigay ng kanilang mga questions sa ating Facebook Live and also dito sa ating Zoom. Kwan lang nila, sir, how could they access daw po yung electronic book ni Creswell?
Now I'll just send it to you.
Okay, sir. And even daw po sa...
Just message me your email so I can send it to you. Even the PowerPoint, the content of the PowerPoint presentation, etc., etc. By the way, I failed to show you the references. I've not been truthful because I did not show the. I have references. Wait a second. That is very important. Okay, these are the references. Okay, Ballena and Liwag, your Bernard Fontes, Litzman, Lincoln, and Cuba. This is what I was saying earlier on. Meho, Miriam, okay, and this one. Okay, so I forgot to show this. Okay, so the content, as I said, if so, I'm not going to share the PPT. My PPT is bad. I know you can make better PPTs, but the content is in Word format, so that's a lot better. So I can share it to you. Just give me your email, but not to all the participants, because I may not be able to respond to all the
Yes,
participants
sir.
through you, through
Yes,
your
sir.
organization, or through your office. So I'll send one Creswell's ebook 2007. There, we have a later version, but I don't have the ebook, an ebook of that. I can send you the PPT, whatever you ask of those that I showed you, except the entire paper. No, that is not to be shared, because in the first place, I haven't graded that yet. After this, I'll be reading the outputs of my students. Just ask of those that I shared to you. Okay.
Okay, sir. So ito, magandang question sa Facebook. Pero feeling ko alam ko na kung anong sagot mo, sir. With this kind of setup that we have due to restrictions brought by the COVID pandemic, ano daw po ang mas magandang method na gawin? Quantitative or qualitative research?
Okay, my answer to that is your interest. Hindi mo na ano, hamo nga na guess DJ answer ko niya. Interest, that depends on your interest. Because it is the problem that dictates what method you are going to follow. Basically, it's the problem. You cannot say, this happens in proposal defense. The students present, after presenting the research question, blah blah blah, would present the initial proposed a method, then I would say, wait a second, why did you choose that? Because, sir, I like it. Wait a second. There's no liking in here. It is the research questions that will definitely tell you what appropriate method is. Of the two general types, is it quali or quanti? For instance, uh, you're talking about effect of something on something, impact of something on something. I'm emphasizing that because this is a common error. Impact to me. That's why many people, there are several Filipinos who are impactos because they would say impact to me. Okay. So when you say impact of blank on blank, so you already have a dependent variable and independent variable, one testing the effect on something, and that is basically quantitative. Just the use of the word will tell you, that must be quantitative. But sir, I want to have interview. No, you cannot just have an interview. You have to measure the impact. You have to measure the effect because it's very easy. Dakkel ti impact na kanyak. So, what is that? But if you have to measure the impact, you measure the effect, there are statistical ways to do that. Of course, I cannot talk with you with credibility. Let my brother do that for you next week. So, in short, it is the research problem that dictates. Although there are research questions that are neither strictly quali nor strictly quanti, so you can now have the option. So what's the answer to the question? Your interest. Will you be able to manage the rigor of qualitative research? If you can't, then do quantitative research. If you have a good statistician, the statistician can do it for you, even up to the writing of the results. The statisticians sometimes do that. I'm not saying, I hope my brother will not hear me. But my brother is not doing that. Huh? I know some statisticians writing the results. In qualitative research, you cannot ask somebody to write the results for you. So, in short, interest, but on top of that, the topic or the research questions determine the um, method, whether qualitative or quantitative. So it is the question that dictates your direction that you are going to walk through, that you are going to traverse. I like walking as a metaphor. Kas jeti Ilocano, nalaing nga magna. Nya, dapay question. See, I'm not code switching into Filipino. Huh? I want to code switch to Ilocano. In my class, I never code switch. It's pure English. But since I'm an Ilocano and most of the participants are Ilocano speaking, I beg the indulgence of non-Ilocanos once in a while because I miss my language.
Numay kanto dito'y Sir Cagayan.
Umayak to.
With Sir.
Nagpintas. Ngayon ko dada, nagpintas ka no dita kagayat ng hanak mga awamot ti tsansak nga makaumay ditan. Barbareng to ano, malpas dito pandemic.
Yes,
Makapanay
sir.
dita. Makapasyar dita.
Yes po, kasi every year prior pandemic, nagkakandak po kami ng mga capability building programs and mga research conferences. So
Okay.
soon, sir,
Sure.
pag okay na po, we'll
Sure,
invite
by
you
all means.
to join us
Yeah.
physically here in
Yeah.
our
Sure,
university.
by all means. Okay.
So with that, sir,
Wait a second. Let me relate because the question is given the pandemic.
yes,
So
sir.
I think I gave a general answer to the question. Good. I had a second thought. A second thought meaning I reflected on it. So given the pandemic, if both are actually very manageable now that there is pandemic. Why? When you do scale, when you do quanti and you have survey questionnaire, you already that's very easy because we have program for that to administer online, and it is very easy to administer online quantitative survey questionnaire. On the other hand, if you do qualitative, it is also a lot easier. Why? Because you can do the interviewing at the comfort at your own comfort at home, and the interviewee also at home. So both actually are very much applicable now that it is pandemic. Better than the face to face. Better than the before the pandemic, because before the pandemic you go, you meet the person, you have to be with the person, and there are a lot of things, sometimes buy him or her some snacks, etc., etc., and it's less costly. It's less costly, both quali and quanti perspectives. I like the question.
Thank you, sir. At this juncture, uh, let me read the certificate of appreciation to our speaker for today. Once again, thank you so much, Sir Amboy, for sharing your insights and expertise
Okay, my
on
pleasure.
qualitative data analysis. And I hope this will not be our last engagement with you, sir.
Mhm.
And I hope this will be the start also of our
Of
engagement.
prolonged
Uh,
engagement using the trustworthiness following Lincoln and Cuba. It's not just a mere engagement, but a prolonged engagement. Okay, I look forward to having such engagements.
Yes, sir. May I read the text? University of St. Louis to Gigaraw City, Philippines, University Research and Development Center and the Center for Social Innovation, Local Knowledge and Educational Research awards this certificate of appreciation to Constantino T. Ballena, PhD, for willingly sharing his time and expertise as a session speaker with the topic qualitative data analysis during the research capability building program for teachers in social sciences and in teacher education held at University of St. Louis Tugigaraw City, Cagayan on March 8 to April 19, 2021. Given this 5th day of April 2021 to Gigaraw City, Philippines. Signed, yours truly, Darren Gentindoens, head of the Silker, our very own Dr. Emmanuel James P. Pataguan, Vice President for Academics, and our very own President, University President, Reverend Father Renilio H. Santa Ana, CICM. Once again, a round of applause for our session speaker for this session.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's my
Thank you
pleasure
so
to be
much,
with you.
sir. May I also ask our participants from our Zoom room to please open your camera for our documentation. Wait lang po. Sir, pwedeng paki-stop lang po
Yeah,
yung share
yeah,
screen, sir,
yeah, yeah.
para
I'm about to do that. Yeah. Okay, that's it. Okay.
so we would like to thank the presence of our key administrators here. We have Sir James. Thank you, Sir James. To our Ma'am Liza, our university registrar. Thank you to the different program chairs of the School of Education, Arts and Sciences. Ma'am AJ, Sir Renz, thank you so much. To our faculty members. Uh, Sir James is waiting for your capsule. Hopefully, we can do Zoom online presentation despite our ECQ status. To our participating schools, our partner schools, Ma'am Grail from the St. Louis College of Bolanao and Ma'am Ruth from the Kalinga State University. Thank you so much po. Our faculty members from the different departments of USL and to our participants from the different schools, SMU, CSU, ISU, Partido State University, Samar State University, WCC Gimba, um, Ilocos Sur Polytechnic State College. Thank you so much. And sa lahat na po na hindi ko pa po nasabi, maraming maraming salamat po sa inyong participation. All right. So, ready na po tayo? First screen. Next screen. Wait lang po. Okay, next screen po. So just a few reminders. Next week will be our sixth session. So sa mga patuloy po na nanonood, nakikipag-participate sa ating program, maraming salamat. So after the 2 week discussion on qualitative research, next week naman po we will do the quantitative research with the brother of Sir Amboy. Sir Jaime naman po ang ating speaker
Yeah.
next week. So with that, let's have our closing prayer.
Dear God, as this meeting comes to an end, we thank you for the time you have given us. Thank you for the chance to acquire different knowledge from our facilitators throughout the in-service journey. Help us now to carry this new knowledge and experiences in our mind and put into actions. We thank you for your guidance to fulfill the agenda that is in service journey. May you bless us all and protect us with your holy will. All this we pray in the precious name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
All right, once again, thank you so much po Sir Amboy and to our participants sa ating Zoom and sa ating Facebook page. And we hope to see you again in our next session on Monday. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you
Thank
po.
you. My pleasure, my pleasure. Okay. Hasta la vista. Hindi.